everyone, and welcome to another review. This time I will be talking about two eyeshadow palettes from LACURA Beauty. These eyeshadow palettes are available exclusively at ALDI grocery stores, and they retail for €3.99 a piece full price. That comes out to about $4.70. But as we speak, they're actually on sale, at least at my local Aldi, and they sell for just €2 there. When you first get these in the store, this paper box is actually wrapped in plastic foil, so that way you can be certain that nobody has fiddled with your product or had a chance to adulterate it in any way. As you can see by the variance in color of the boxes and by the symbols right here at the top, the concept behind these eyeshadow palettes is that they are color coordinated to suit certain types of eye colors, and the green one down here says that it is especially designed for green and brown eyes, and this very neutral one says that it's for all eye colors. And in my local Aldi there was another option available which was full of blues, and I believe that was for blue eyes. These palettes, which LACURA Beauty calls eyeshadow boxes, are not part of Aldi's standard range of products, but they will have them for sale as a special item. I remember seeing these on sale multiple times over the past few years, and from that experience I know that there are at least two other options available. There is one that has a lot of browns, and then there is one that has a lot of purples. But in general, I don't let the mentioning of a specific eye color on the packaging, such as green eyes or blue eyes, deter me from trying a product. If I find the shades of the eyeshadows appealing, I consider that to be a mere recommendation, and I think that it is up to the individual to combine these eyeshadows as she best sees fit. These eyeshadows hold good for 24 months after opening, and each of the 5 pens that they contain comes with 1.5 grams of product, which comes out to a total of 7.5 grams of product. And they are produced in the labs of PAM in Austria. PAM means perfumes and more, and I'm mentioning this because I googled these and there was some speculation that these eyeshadow palettes are produced in the same facilities that produce some very well-known high-end brands. Now, I cannot vouch for that, but that may be a possibility that I just thought I would put out there on the table. In terms of packaging, these come in very sturdy compacts. I do have to say that these compacts feel sturdier, a lot sturdier actually, than most drugstore brands. So they do feel like they are better quality. They do not come with a mirror, which is kind of a bummer. They come with a dual-sided applicator which has a doe foot on the one end and then a little brush on the other end. And then the interesting thing is that in each of these compacts, the very top shade is actually not a powder eyeshadow, but it is actually a cream highlighter. So let's start the swatch party with the one that is supposed to fit all eye colors, and this is the number 05, the more neutral of the two. First, the cream highlight at the top. As you can see, this is a pretty subtle highlight. I'm gonna build it up just a bit, although I find that in real life you do not need to build it up because you do not want to risk looking gaudy wearing this. And I don't know if the camera is actually picking up on this, but this is a nice silver gray shade. Going over to the second shade. Boom! This has amazing pigmentation. This is a very, very pigmented, shimmery white shade. Super nice. Then the third shade is actually a bit of a surprise because it is a matte. And this is a matte taupey shade. The pigmentation on this one is actually not bad at all. It's actually quite decent. And I've used this one to blend out my crease, and this is so beautiful. It gives you that nice diffused effect, and obviously you can build it up to a very good pigmentation. I think my camera is washing out the colors a little bit. Looking at them in real life and then looking at them on my display, I can definitely notice that they come out being a lot more vibrant in real life. And obviously I'm not using any primer on my arm right now or any base, but with primer they do all work beautifully. Now the fourth color. This is a glittery taupey gray. This is probably the least pigmented out of the entire compact. And by the way, the packaging on this does mention that you can use them wet for a more dramatic look. And I've actually applied this one wet yesterday, and it gave out an okay look. I will say that if there is a dud in this palette, that would be this fourth shade over here and over here in the palette. But it's still workable. And then finally the last one. This is again super pigmented. That was just one swipe and I barely touched the eyeshadow. So if this third one is completely matte, as this last one is a satin finish, this is a cooler tone taupe. So whereas this third one has more purple undertones, this last one has more charcoal black kind of undertones, but both of these are really gorgeous and they give super nice neutral looks. You can create quite a few neutral looks using these shades. I do think this is a very nice palette, and I think this would be really nice for anyone looking for an affordable, really nice, sturdy, portable palette. Also, while I have not used the brush end of this dual-sided applicator yet, I do find that the doe foot that you get with it is quite nice for applying that cream highlight. That way you do not get all of your brushes gunked up with this. And obviously this cream highlighter over here is good not just for highlighting your eyes, but also as a highlighter for your face. So on top of your cheekbones and down the bridge of your nose and on your cupid's bow. I have tried it in that way and I quite like it. So moving on to the palette with the green tone. This is the palette labeled 01 for green and brown eyes. Starting at the top with the cream highlight. This one has actually more of a champagne-y color to it. Let me try to build it up. Actually, I will use the applicator on this one. I don't know if you can notice the difference in shade between this one over here and then the silvery one from the other palette. The one from the Green Eyes palette is definitely a lot warmer toned than the one from the Neutral Eyes palette. It's this very nice shimmery champagne-y color. It's very subtle, yet it does give off just the right amount of sheen without being too bold or in your face. So I do like it. Next up we have this golden color. Nice and pigmented. As I said, my camera is washing things out a bit today, but trust me, this is a very nice classic gold color and the pigmentation is actually really good. Then the third color, which to me has to be the highlight of this palette. This is a gorgeous taupe color. Oh, I love it so much. And it actually has these gorgeous purple undertones. This is so beautiful, and depending on how the light hits this third one, so it's this third one in the palette and then swatched over here, it changes color from golden to slightly brownish, taupey to purpley. Oh, this is so gorgeous. I've used this in the crease, I've used this all over the lid. This is so beautiful. I simply love this color. I actually like this color so much that I would say that it's worth to pay the €2, the reduced price for this palette, just to get this color. This is so beautiful. The brighter of the two greens, this is a lime green color. Incorporating this color into a look results in a very springy look on your eyes. It's very fresh and I would say different. This bright green over here does have some golden undertone, and I think that makes it a lot more wearable. And one way I like to incorporate this green, which is normally not something that I would reach for a lot, is by just lightly blending it over the crease, just a wash of color over the crease. And I think it's actually really nice diffused in that way because it gives a bit of freshness to the look and a pop of color without being over the top. So this is a rather more special color and the pigmentation is quite good as well. And then finally the last one, which is a dark kale green with a bit of gold sheen through it. I like the gold theme that this palette seems to have going on. So you have the champagne cream highlighter, then you have gold, and then both of these green have quite a bit of gold. And then this third color over here is surprisingly quite warm depending on how the light hits it. So I do find that all these colors go together very well and you can get quite a few looks with them. I will say that what would make this palette even more versatile would be the inclusion of a black. And I've kind of been on the fence about this one because I don't know if it's really fair to hold it against this palette that it does not come with the black. Black is such a basic color. Most of us probably already have some sort of black, either as a single or as part of a larger palette, and we all know that if you get a palette that has more than, I don't know, 10, 12 eyeshadows, you're bound to have a black in there. So for this one that has just 5 shades, I guess I would rather get some more unique shades like this absolutely gorgeous taupe here than get yet another black. And then when I use this palette, I can always bring in a black. Now, if you're traveling with just this palette, the absence of that really dark color may restrict in some way the range of looks that you can get out of this palette. Although I do find that if you use this last color, the Kale Green Wet, you do get enough darkness to define the outer corner of your eye. But then again, you always have the option of bringing in that additional single color. So actually, I don't hold it against this palette that it does not come with the black. I will say that if you buy more than one of these palettes, you're bound to get a black somewhere. But I do appreciate the fact that, as you see, there is no overlapping colors. Wrapping up this review, I do think that both of these palettes are really, really good quality and that you're actually getting more than you're paying for, even at the full price of €4 a piece or $4.70. If I had to give them a grade, I would probably give the green one a 9.5 out of a 10 and the neutral one maybe an 8.5 out of a 10, just because this second to last shade over here is not the most pigmented. But still, I would rate the pigmentation of this shade as average. I first got the green palette and I liked it so much, and I was so surprised with the quality that you get with these palettes that I actually ran out and bought the neutral one as well. So I would definitely recommend these, and I'm excited to create more looks using them. I hope that this review was helpful. Thank you so very much for taking the time to watch, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!